Since then, there has reportedly been very little progress between the two sides, and we are now only hours away from the deadline for Dak to sign a long-term deal. Fort Worth Star-Telegram's Clarence Hill is joining us now. You have been covering the Cowboys since the 90s, and we are so glad to have you with us. We miss you in person, but this is better than nothing. So tell us, Clarence, where did this all go wrong for Dak and the Cowboys and these negotiations?
Well, number one, it went wrong when they didn't get him done before last season, before all the money exploded. They should have gotten this done, and then the money exploded, and the two sides have been dug in their corners. I mean, the Cowboys want a 5-year deal. They don't do 4-year extensions. All their extensions have been 5 years. Dak wants a 4-year deal. You look at all the extensions or new deals before Patrick Mahomes, they've been 4-year deals and 4-year extensions, and he wants to be in line with other guys. And again, you want the 4-year deal because it's essentially a 5-year, 6-year deal anyway, because they have the mechanism of putting the tag on him again after that to control his future. But I think the biggest thing here is that the Cowboys may have taken Dak's kindness for weakness. Dak has been a team player, team guy, selfless guy, and they figured Dak would do the right thing and I guess acquiesce to doing what was best for the team. And again, as I've said, I've been blue in the face. Dak did not switch agents before last season, to CAA and to Todd France. CAA is one of the top sports agencies. Certainly Todd France is one of the most shrewd agents. He didn't switch from CAA to CAA to take less money. He switched to CAA to maximize his earnings.
No, you go ahead.
So, Clarence, do you believe some bad blood has developed here? Is there any animosity from one side to the other? Because you reported, I guess, yesterday that they're not even speaking at this point.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing that I guess troubles me to a certain extent, is because both sides have said we want to get a deal done. Dak is our guy. Jerry Jones, when we last talked to him at the Combine, said there's no going forward without Dak. And Dak has said, I want to be a Cowboy for life. Certainly, I want it at my price. And both people saying they want it at a price, but they want to continue this relationship. Mike McCarthy's come in and said Dak is our guy. But the fact that they haven't even tried to speak or to get on the phone and negotiate in the final hour before this deadline, that's troubling to me to a certain extent. But at least on the surface, there's been no animosity. Everybody said all the right things. You haven't seen the Zeke Who comments or anything like that, or the Dak Who stuff as we saw last year. But it's telling that there has been nothing. And the Cowboys are comfortable. They're comfortable with him playing this season on the tag. My issue is this. This opens up a doomsday scenario where Dak follows Kirk Cousins out the door. And for two sides that, want to go do this deal and want to get it done long term, when you have to play this season on a tag, if you can't get it done now, where's the hope that you're going to get it done after next season?
Clarence, I believe this started a couple of years ago when Dak was under contract and Jerry Jones and Steven strolled to the podium and they said, Dak's going to need to work with us. Before the contract negotiation even started, they're already asking Dak to take a discount. Well, Dak was saying, well, hold on, wait a minute. When I was making $400,000, when I was making $500,000, no one called to say, okay, we're going to give you a raise. And so they planted the seed that if Dak doesn't give them a discount, he's being selfish. And the fan base seemingly in Dallas has bought into that. What do you think what Dak was thinking when he heard Steven, before any contract negotiation started, saying Dak needs to give us a discount?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the situation. We've talked about Zeke and DeMarcus Lawrence. They all got market deals, the top of the market deals. And it's funny because I remember a story which Steven told after they signed DeMarcus Lawrence when they were negotiating. And first they lowballed Lawrence, and they finally came up, and he said that Lawrence told us the cap is a you problem, not a me problem. That's for you to figure out. And it seemed like he said it in glowing terms of DeMarcus, how strong he was in the convictions. But yet we're not having that same attitude toward Dak, who also wants to get his fair market value to a certain extent, and they're stuck on this. But yeah, from a Dak standpoint, who's been severely underpaid based on his salary. He's made $4 million in 4 years on the field, one of the best bargains in sports, if not the best bargains in sports. It's time to make him whole. And as I always say, it's time to not only make him whole, but make him whole. And if you want to get your guy done like the Chiefs did, if this is a guy you believe in, then you find a way to get him done.
So, Clarence, walk us back to opening day after the Giants game. I know you were there, And you heard Jerry Jones say after the game, Dak was great in that game, albeit against a not very good team. But Jerry said this deal with Dak is imminent. And one of the reporters said imminent as in what? How long? Days, said Jerry. We're going to get this done in days. Zeke had just gotten done. I know I was excited because I just felt like the next domino, the biggest domino, was about to fall in Big D, and it was Big Dak. And nothing happened for a week, and he went and lit it up at Washington, and nothing happened for another week, and he lit up the lowly Dolphins in Dallas, obviously. And then Yahoo reported, and I wanted your comment on this, Yahoo reported that at that point, Todd France then presented a new demand to Jerry Jones when Jerry thought they had agreed upon the basic money of the deal. They just needed to cross some T's and dot some I's. And Yahoo reported that that made Jerry mad at the agent and miffed at Dak. Do you think that was a turning point? Do you buy into that scenario?
Well, it certainly was a turning point because they did think they had a deal.
Yep.
But in the words of old Darren Hambrick from long ago, what do imminent mean? You know, he went with what do voluntary mean? What do imminent mean from in the words of old Darren Hambrick? But the bottom line is they thought they had a deal. So certainly it was a turning point. But after the Cowboys got to the fast start and the way Dak was playing, Dak and Todd France said, hey, now we think we can get a better deal. And so they didn't sign the deal. They made another offer. Certainly the two sides talks broke down. But since then, the Cowboys have made offers and upped the offer since then. So if that was the turning point, the Cowboys did give him a new offer in March. You know, they did up the money since then. So it wasn't like the Cowboys were so upset at that point. They just said, we're not doing anything. They did up the offer. They've upped the money, I think, twice since then. And then we still don't have a deal. And the issue, again, as we talk, is more 5 and 4. And Lisa, I looked, someone else reported earlier that they may have taken the 5-year deal if the guaranteed money was higher. The guaranteed money that they've offered on the 5-year deal was not high enough. You know, and as again, if you want me to take a longer deal, like the Chiefs got from Mahomes, then money with me and incentivize it for me to take a longer deal.
And that's what I've been trying to tell Skip, because Jerry's trying to get it both ways. Okay, we don't do 4-year deals, so we want a 5-year deal, but we want the 5-year deal at the money we're offering. Dak says, wait a minute. What do I get out of this? If I give you more years, shouldn't I get more money? If I give you less years, I'm willing to take a little less of the guarantees. But you don't get to have it both ways. Jerry says, I want 5 and I want to give you this money. And Dak was like, no. See, Dak is looking at it. If you look at Mahomes, if you look at Goff and Wentz, Clarence, they had 2 years left. So They got 4-year extensions. Those are 6-year deals. Dak says, I got no years left. And you want me to take the exact same, basically the exact same signing bonus money and the exact same guaranteed money as them? And they got the security 2 years before, and I got no security?
Well, that's it. Because everybody talks about even the Mahomes deal and how cap-friendly it is early. And you look at Wentz and Goff, and because they were first-round picks,
right,
they signed 5-year deals, and once they start negotiating, they did it with 2 years early. You know, and the Cowboys essentially tried to sign Dak after 3 years. They couldn't give him money before 3 years. And it was only in the last year of the deal before last season they could really sign it to a long-term deal. But that's just it, Shannon. You know, when you drafted low, you're always chasing money. The same thing with Kirk. When you drafted low, you're a 4th-round guy. They don't give you the benefit of the doubt. You have to fight for yours, and that's essentially the case because all the guys that drafted in the 1st round, they've been taken care of. But it's the guy that's in the 4th round, even though his stats and everything he's done on the field compare favorably or even better than Goff and Wentz, and you look at the numbers, he's the one fighting, and they got paid.
So, Clarence, just lay this on the table for us, your best educated guess. Let's talk average annual salary. What do you believe the Cowboys have offered average annual, and what do you believe Dak and Todd France are demanding average annual salary?
Well, I know the Cowboys, the last offer was a little more than $34 million, right? You know, and well, more than $34 million, just under $35 million, and on a 5-year deal. You know, and that's what the average was. And again, the biggest thing on their, at least before Mahomes, let's say before Mahomes, I don't know what the deal is after Mahomes, but you got to do that because the market has changed significantly. But the biggest thing before Mahomes was the guaranteed money on that 5-year deal. You know, and I think that they would have come up and on the money and made him more than Russell Wilson at that time. But the biggest thing then was the guaranteed money. It wasn't necessarily the average annual salary. But now as we move forward, I mean, with what Mahomes has got and what you're getting next year on the franchise tag, I can't take less than 35, 36 million.
Okay.
And
so,
I know you talk 40. I don't think he's asking for 40. I don't think
you don't?
I mean,
because that's the big X factor here. That's what nobody knows. No reporting on this.
No one knows, but no one's, asking for 40. I don't think that anybody, listen, it kills me because people want to compare them. I don't think Dak is asking for Mahomes' money. And I don't think, and then even before this, before Mahomes got paid, if Dak would have been made the highest paid quarterback, everybody knows that Mahomes would have surpassed him. I mean, that's what it is. We knew that, okay? And we knew that Watson was probably going to surpass because that's how deals go. The next guy gets the most money. Now that Mahomes jumped in front of Dak, I don't really think, and listen, I'm not in Todd Francis' head. I don't think he's asking for 40 or 45 million or whatever the biggest money that Mahomes is getting. But certainly, I look at the 37.7 next year that I'm guaranteed on the franchise tag. If not this year, that's going to be the baseline next year's deal. That's going to be the floor.
Well, Clarence, I mean, it don't hurt to ask. I mean, I can ask. I mean, you go to your boss and say, I'm thinking about a raise. He might be feeling generous and said, okay, Clarence, you're right. You've been working hard. Got us some great stories. We're going to give you that raise. But I look at it now is that I don't see how Dak is going to want $200 million. That's going to be because Dak is looking at, are y'all trying to tell me I'm not half as good as Mahomes? So I'm not worth 200, 250 on a 5-year deal? So it's going to have to, and he's going to have to get 15, 20% more in guaranteed bonus than what Carson Wentz got. And Carson Wentz got about $67 million at the time of signing. So you're going to have to give Dak, before Dak even think about it, you're going to have to give him $80 million at the time.